Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Ministry of Works and Transport has started a pilot project to implement solar energy carports. In studio with me, I am joined by the Ministry of Works and Transport Deputy Director of Engineering Services, Ndangi Leka, to talk to us about this initiative. So very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you. Good morning.
I was quite privileged to have you in studio, of course, being a fan of your comedy back in the days, but we're talking serious things now, right?
Yes.
All right, talk to us about this pilot project that the ministry is currently undertaking. What exactly is it about?
Okay, so basically the mandate of the Ministry of Works and Transport is basically to develop, implement and regulate sectorial policy, as well as to ensure the development of infrastructure, as well as the management of transport and state assets. So basically our mission is to ensure reliable, safe infrastructure. Now in doing that, the use of renewable energy has always been part of our policy and our implementation strategy when it comes to the development of state assets. And we've then now decided to develop this solar PV carport as a way as to research and investigate exactly the performance of this renewable energy, particularly when it comes to solar. So it came as a result of that. We are implementing solar PV installations on our buildings. However, we want to have it on site where we can monitor and basically develop the technology further when it comes to installing it to government buildings. Yeah.
Very well. How long has this initiative been running on for now, and how progressive has it been since its inception?
Well, so basically the policy or the whole initiative of implementing renewable energy, it's been an ongoing thing. You'd see that most government buildings, when it comes to the heating of water, if you'd seen most schools and hostels, as well as the hospitals, it is our policy that we use renewable energy, particularly solar. Yeah. So it's been an ongoing thing. But when it comes to this little solar carport that we've installed at our offices, that has been basically just running for one full month.
Full month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We installed it about a month ago.
All right. And how important do you think solar energy is now? If you can just perhaps explain that to the layman.
Yeah, well, I think it's a resource that we have plenty of. It's in abundance here in Namibia. I mean, most of the days the sun is shining. And it really just makes sense that if we are at work while the sun is shining, it makes sense that we use this abundant and renewable, as well as basically free renewable. So it's a very important resource in our energy mix. And it's really something that we need to make use of more, especially given now the increase in energy costs and so on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Of course, we do see that there's a lot of interest in energy, be it not only in oil and gas, but of course what you just mentioned now about the sun. But let's talk about perhaps the specific areas where we're looking at this project, flourishing. Is it only in Windhoek where it's now been practiced, or are we looking at all the other regions across the country?
Yeah. So basically, as I stated, with regards to our mandate and the implementation of this mandate of ours. The Ministry of Works and Transport, as custodian of government buildings, has over 8,000 properties across the country.
That's right.
And with regards to this policy now, where we are saying, let's make use of renewable energy, it's being utilized everywhere. We have some islands, Mercury and Possession Islands in the south. We also have a school, Ndoro Memorial, which is just outside of Kongola on the way to Zambezi region. Right. So we have this situation where we are saying as a ministry that our mission is to ensure reliable world-class infrastructure regardless of where you are in the country. Right. But that means that we need to have electricity, sewer, and proper drinking water and so on. But we do find ourselves sometimes in areas where we are far from the grid. So it's really something that we've been implementing over the years, and we do have infrastructure. I mean, even here at Ministry of Environment and Tourism and Forestry, we do have a solar PV system that's providing electricity for that. So it's something that we've been doing. It's just that now at the Ministry of Works and Transport, we have some engineers, and we thought, look, let's install the system at our own premises, and then let's study it. How do we improve it? How do we roll out in a most cost-effective manner? And so basically, this pilot project is really just to do that investigation, to research that, and also to figure out how to implement it better. And it's also, the reason we did a carport is because we have a unique situation. We have a situation where our building was designed and constructed a very long time ago. And the roof was not necessarily designed to carry solar PV panels.
Right.
So it just made sense that, okay, if we can't do that, what is the next best thing? And really it's just to
shooting two birds with one stone, creating a carport for that. But let's talk about, you spoke about costs as well. And of course, the aim should be that the ministry gets to save money from this project.
Yes.
How much money do you think really the ministry is going to be saving from this project?
All right, so as I said, we have our electrical engineers who monitor the system on a daily basis, basically to get to that answer, like to say, if we were to install an 18 kilowatt peak, which is what we've done, an 18 kilowatt peak system on our premises, how much electricity can we generate and how much would that result in terms of savings? And we are producing about 75 units per day. That's about 75 kilowatt hours per day, which translates to about 2,250 units per month. And roughly that's a little bit over $6,000, which we save every month. And that is a third of our cost that we've brought down.
All right. Yeah, we find ourselves at a time where, of course, you just heard that the ECB just increased the tariffs yesterday, effective yesterday. And we, of course, are looking at people not really happy about this increase. Perhaps, and I'm asking this in your own personal capacity as a resident of the country. What do you think solar system really can bring? Will this be an initiative that perhaps can reduce costs of living when it comes to people perhaps going as far as bringing these systems into their homes?
Definitely. I feel the solar resource is something that we have in abundance, and I think given the rise in energy costs, I think we really definitely need to add it and use it more in our energy mix. Not only solar, but as well as wind on the coast, as well as all the other renewable resources that we have, such as hydro that we have up north as well. It's a very, especially given the time now where the energy cost is going up, as you correctly said, it's really something that we need to look into. And government, as I said, has been at the forefront of this. I think in the news, you mentioned something about the boreholes. We've now converted, we've moved away from these diesel boreholes and using more of these solar pumps and so on. That's so it's definitely a critical part of our energy mix, and it will really go a long way in managing the cost of energy.
Right. What are the future plans then for the project, the solar system that the ministry has now just put into pilot stage? What does the future look like for the ministry in this initiative, and what are you really going to be aiming for at the end of this?
We want to continue with the investigation so that it's easier to roll out. We want to study how much electricity can we produce locally on site, and also how can we produce electricity on site without making use of the roof spaces, because you'd find, like in a lot of our buildings, the building has already been constructed, and as I said, the roof might not be suitable or might not be strong enough to hold these solar PV panels. But we have carports, or we have cars that are usually parked maybe under the trees or in the sun, and we'll be able to kill two birds with one stone by providing shade for the cars, as well as them providing generating electricity for the facility. We do have plans of taking our research further to say, okay, if we have cars which are parked while we are at work and we are able to provide shade as well as generate electricity, why don't then we have electric vehicles? That's especially for running errands within Windhoek. As I said, the Ministry of Works and Transport's custodian of government properties has a lot of properties in Windhoek, and you do have a lot of our staff, driving around from property to property. And it really just would make sense to have a little electric vehicle that we park under the carport while it's being charged by the solar PV, which is also the carport. So really, that's the mission. It's been a month now while we investigate and study our little solar PV carport, but really the vision is to roll it out nationwide, as well as then incorporate electric vehicles as part of our fleet, so that we are able to not only save on electricity, but as well as save on fuel and maintenance costs, because as you're aware, electric vehicles have fewer moving parts and therefore less maintenance costs. So that's really the plan. And
I like the fact that you actually mentioned about electric vehicles. We're coming at a time where we see a couple of them driving in Windhoek, but of course we don't see electric charging stations. But do you think that Namibia is perhaps going to move is moving in the right direction and the right speed for us to see maybe a lot of fleet in terms of electric vehicles on our roads, and not only in the ministries, but I mean even the personal car that one can own and perhaps have charged at home through solar?
I definitely think so. I mean, the battery technology is forever improving, as well as solar panels are becoming cheaper, and we have excellent roads.
Right.
And as government, really, the Ministry of Works and Transport having properties, managing the properties of the state in every region, there's really a big possibility for us to, at least at all our government garages, which are like spread out across the country, given the range of electric vehicles and the properties that the ministry controls and manages, there's definitely a possibility that we as government also is able to spearhead the rollout of these charging stations, because the properties are already there, and if it's not going to cost us much, if we are saying that we're going to use solar PV as an option for charging these vehicles. And that's really what we are doing with this little pilot project, is to see how would that look like, how possible, how much would that cost, and also so that we're able to budget effectively so that we can properly manage the rollout of such facilities.
And what more do you think needs to be done in terms of perhaps additional needs that your department needs, to make it much more easier, and perhaps just move at a certain pace to perhaps reach a certain stage where we can say that, look, we have collected this much data, and this is what we can work with. This when we are ready, perhaps, to start using this and perhaps much more comfortably than just a pilot stage?
Well, the Ministry of Works and Transport is to engineers, architects, and quantity surveyors what the Ministry of Health and Social Services is to doctors.
Right.
We are the home of engineering, and we have an engineering team, and what we really want to do is put our engineers to task and say, look, these are the challenges of today when it comes to energy. This is the resources that we have, and these are services that we need to provide to our clients and the public in terms of infrastructure. So we want to keep on doing more research and also implementing this. As I said, it's a standard government policy when it comes to using of renewable energy in the energy mix when it comes to infrastructure and buildings, that every government building that requires heating of water, that heating is provided for through renewable energy, mainly solar, and as well as when it comes to electricity. It's just a matter of really, because when you roll out something like this, you need to have a proper budget and a proper plan for it. And we are really in that space. I think we are in winter now, and that's when you install the system. If we have a full year's cycle, we will be able to see the performance in summer and other seasons as well. But that doesn't stop us. As I said, we are currently implementing a similar system, a bit more complex system in Doro Memorial and one of the schools up north, as well as the islands in the south. Right. So it is something that is ongoing. It's just a matter of really tweaking it and improving on it so that we can find the most cost-effective solution. Yeah,
I think another thing would be public awareness, perhaps for people to be made aware of this initiative. Do you think when will the right time be for people to be made aware? Perhaps not even when it's fully put into practice, but even while it's being made into practice now. And it's also perhaps for the ministry as well, whose employees should know that this is currently what's happening, and perhaps it does not even bring them into any danger. Because of course, when it comes to engineering or anything in that regard, people will want to know if they are safe when there's anything being constructed.
No, I think especially me coming here and talking to you, I think also really assists with creating this awareness. We have had some requests from our user clients, user ministries. We've had from the Auditor General's office. They also want to manage their energy costs. So we do get occasionally, because we do manage these government properties. So the requests have been coming in, and for us to do feasibility studies of the installation of solar PV at the offices. But when it comes to really renewable energy and the rollout, government does have numerous programs already in existence, particularly if you might be aware of the Solar Revolving Fund at Ministry of Mines and Energy, where anybody can, really the public can, get a sort of like a soft loan for either implementing solar water geysers at their premises, as well as solar boreholes and also solar So there are these initiatives within government, but you're right. There really needs to be maybe a bit more of an awareness campaign so that the general public knows that we are implementing and making use of our renewable resources, and we do have sort of a plan and a policy in place. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Dangileka, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us this morning. And of course, we wish you all the best for this project. Of course, can see how it actually, grows to become. And thank you so much for making the time.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.